Was grabbing headlines yesterday.
So Manal Rostom calls out brands asking for free coverage. Egyptian mountaineer and Dubai-based content creator Manal Rostom has spoken out against brands asking influencers for free coverage. She took to Instagram to vent about how companies are offering exposure instead of payment, which she firmly says doesn't pay the bills.
Manal pointed out that more brands are reaching out for collaborations without any budget, expecting influencers to work for free. Many people in the industry are backing her up, agreeing that exposure isn't enough when it comes to paying the bills. So we've had Manal sit here before, by the way, and you know when we title headlines that go on Lovin Dubai, we have to make it relatable to the audience. Manal is more than a content creator. She was the first Egyptian woman to scale Everest. She's scaled many of the world's highest peaks. She also founded Surviving Hijab, which is a Facebook group, has, correct me if I'm wrong, like 500,000 followers, and it's all about supporting women to wear the hijab. So she has a strong community. So you know the way like you're paying an influencer, are they real, those followers?
Yeah.
Hers are real. They are very much engaged into her life.
No, but oh my God, that's amazing, the work she's done. But I also noticed like a few brands, they were being so defensive in the comment section.
Oh, really?
They were being so defensive. They were like, they said that it goes both ways and that many influencers don't have enough engagement, or they bought fake followers, which is quite visible to them. So they're like, we're not going to give you free stuff or like payment for having fake audience.
Right. Well, but I think then it needs to be on a case-by-case basis. Like if you are employing someone, you make sure that they are up to...
Yeah, like for example, you know, back in the day, we didn't have influencing market, whatever. So all these brands, they would actually pay billboards and like other marketing streams. But now that influencer marketing is a big thing, I think they should also be paid.
100%. Like brands need to know who they're working with, but it's very often that they'll try and go for a barter deal first.
Yeah.
And I think it's on a case-by-case basis. So you as an influencer needs to know how much, like think about, do they actually have budget? And like if it's a small store, for example, Sandal or Dubai, it's a small store. If they got in touch and they wanted a collaboration, if I was an influencer, I think, okay, maybe, you know, they're a small store, don't have budget.
Yeah,
maybe we can get to an agreement of like, my time is worth maybe a handbag, you know, like have a barter versus, but you of course establish that your time is worth something. It's a value, as is your audience and the content that you create. Now, if a huge brand came along, which does happen, and they ask for my time, as an influencer, I'd say, well, they've got some money somewhere if they're paying for this billboard, if they're taking over this metro station, you know, if they definitely have spend, and therefore I'd value my time based on that too.
I agree. But also for like all these influencers who are just starting their career, I think it's okay for them to say yes to these free coverage or free brand things, because their page is their portfolio. So when these $1 million, when certain brands see these $1 million brands being portrayed on their page, then they're like, oh, we want to work with this person too.
True.
And they don't know if they're getting paid or not. So this brand could also be like, oh, maybe she got paid enough. Maybe she got paid a lot. So we should also be paying her.
Very true. But I think, so therefore, it's very much on a case-by-case basis. So for example, if a hair tool company, you know, a very fancy one that we all know and love, if they came to me and said, hey Casey, would you like a hair tool and with a very small following, I'd say yes, absolutely, I'll take that.
Yeah.
However, someone who's further on in their career, who has a large audience, who gets paid for gigs, they're going to say no. So that's why, and then the brands know exactly who they're speaking to and they'll make those calls.
Exactly. No, I feel like all these influencers were saying, oh, the brand should not ask for free collabs and stuff. You can say no.
Exactly.
You can just say no.
Yeah, you can say no.
You can say no and you can move on.
Yeah. But I think it's a nice reminder every now and then. And of the industry, because it's a new industry, relatively. And I think times are always evolving. I imagine different influencers at different rates. So it's good for someone to kind of stand up and say, hey, I'm not doing this for free. And maybe it will nudge others to kind of follow in her footsteps.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
It's 8:48.